Hello, friends. Very good morning. Yeah, and happy Sunday to all of you. Firstly, thank you so much for joining. This is Yogesh Jangid, and on behalf of the entire FNF team, I welcome you all to this FB live session. Yes, here at the FNF, we have experts from various streams. So, if you think you need any help with respect to your health, be it nutrition, diet, exercises, weight loss programs, muscle gains, marathon training, cycling, we would be more than happy to help you guys. A brief introduction about myself. I am an ACSM certified fitness coach, ACSM certified marathon trainer, a certified diet and nutritionist, and would be more than happy to guide you in your journey towards living a healthy and happy life. I am also a professional brand and marketing communications expert. Uh, okay, there is a comment. Make full screen. Okay, so sorry. Yeah. So, in today's session, what I would be focusing on, or will be trying to throw some light on fitness assessments. So, we all have booked Ola and Uber cabs, and the two most important inputs that we need to put in, without which the journey won't be possible. One, the destination location. Where do you want to go? Second, the pickup location. Where are you right now? So similarly, when it comes to health or fitness goals, you must know where do you want to go, and of course, with that respect, what are your current fitness levels? Where are you standing right now? So these are the two important things that you need to input. In my previous session, I had tried explaining about various fitness components like cardiovascular endurance, muscular hypertrophy, flexibility, muscular endurance, power, speed, agility, and how an understanding of these components would help you set your fitness goals or health goals as per your profession, passion, lifestyle, liking, etc. And in today's session, I would try to tell you about the second input, the pickup location, or what are your fitness levels today, and also why you should be knowing them, and how can we measure or do some basic fitness assessments. Firstly, let me tell you a few benefits of fitness assessment. Firstly, it tells you your current fitness levels, quantifies it. To give you an example, if you ask a 4 feet guy about my height, how tall or short I am, he'll tell you I am a tall guy. Whereas if you ask a 7 feet guy about my height, he'll tell you I am a short guy. So what's happening is it's becoming very subjective. So, but if I tell you I am 5'10", you know my height exactly, tall or short. So rather than being very subjective or qualitative, you have certain figures and you can quantify your fitness levels and you can track them. Second, understanding of the fitness assessment individualizes your exercise program. For example, there are two guys, person A and person B, and they both want to reach a destination C, but person B is nearer to the destination, person A is a little far from the destination. So of course their routes or journeys will be different. Similarly, there someone who are at different fitness levels today, their fitness regime or workout regime will also differ accordingly. Next benefit is it helps you identify your strengths and weaknesses. So once you assess yourself, you get to know whether my flexibility is good, do I need to improve my endurance, my strength. So it tells you your strengths and weaknesses. Also, it tells you what are the risks of injuries on your weaker components. Also, it acts as a motivation for adherence to exercise. So what I'm trying to say is, for example, if you need to drive to a destination which is 100 kilometers away, at the start of the journey you have a milestone saying you are 100 kilometers away. The moment you keep driving, for example, you have covered 10 kilometers, the milestone says you are 90 kilometers away. So these milestones, when you're driving, they keep motivating you, and you know, yeah, that you are coming near to your destination. Similarly, the assessments of your fitness levels today will let you know that whether you are progressing in the right direction or not, or do you need any interventions, do you need to make changes to your workout plans. Let me tell you this, that ideally all these fitness assessments should be done under supervision of a qualified or certified expert. uh, Going ahead with a few basic assessments that you could do on your own. The first one is the heart rate or the pulse rate. Simply, the number of times your heart beats is your heart rate. It is reported or measured as BPM, beats per minute. And resting heart rate is an indicator of cardiovascular respiratory fitness. They say the lower the resting heart rate, the fitter you are considered. A lot of these long distance cyclists and long distance runners have the best or the lowest resting heart rates. Some of the professional cyclists have resting heart rates as low as 30-35, which is mind blowing. How do you measure your heart rate? There are three most common sites on your body where you can check your heart rates. One is radial, which is here. So simply using your fingers and timing your heart rate or pulse, counting your pulse for a minute. Second is brachial, which is here, if you can see. And third is carotid, which is here. So you can use any of these three locations, anatomical sites on your body. The most common is the radial one, which is easy to access. You can time it for 1 minute, see your pulse rate, and also there are many heart rate monitors available in the market. There are a lot of watches, but the monitors which are worn around the chest are the most accurate ones, because of course they are nearer to your to the system that you are trying to measure. But how do you know what resting heart rate is good, bad, poor? See, it will vary, for person to person, depending upon your age, depending on the gender. So for males and females of different age groups, it might vary, but on the face of it, resting heart rate of around 60-65 is considered to be very good. Anything less than 55 is considered to be excellent. 70-80 average, and more than 90-100 is below average or poor, which needs improvement. The next assessment you can do is blood pressure. This ideally you need to get it checked under the supervision of a doctor. Let a doctor do it. There are many devices these days available where on your own you can do it, but ideally a doctor's supervision is required in that. A normal range of blood pressure is 120/80, 120 systolic, 80 diastolic. Let me not go into technicalities of it, but blood pressure is one of the key assessments that you need to do. You need to check your blood pressure. Next is body composition. When we say body composition, it is nothing but a relative proportion of your fat and fat-free tissues in your body. Through various researches over the period of so many years, we have got to know that there is a strong correlation between body fat percentage and an increased risk of many chronic diseases. You may download the FNF app, today, and easily assess your body composition. So in a few steps you simply need to put in a few details, that's it, and you can easily get your body composition details in that. Now there are various methods of assessing your body composition, your fat percentage of your body. A lot of these tests are done in labs. You can there are a lot of experts, you can get in touch with them. In a lot of health centers and gyms, you must have seen a device where you need to stand on those metallic food plates and hold the metallic handles. So these are nothing but BIA devices, bioelectrical impedance analysis. I mean, in these devices what happens is a small harmless electrical signal is passed through your body and it estimates how much body percentage a person has. Next, the most common fitness assessment for body composition is BMI, which is body mass index, which is nothing but simply a ratio of your weight to height. So how can you calculate it on your own? Your weight in kgs divided by the square of your height in meters. For example, my weight is around 76 kgs, height is 176 centimeters. So my BMI would be somewhere around 24.5, I guess. So similarly, using this formula you can calculate your BMIs right now. How do you know what BMIs are good, bad? Anything less than 18.5 is considered to be underweight. 18.5 to 24.9 is healthy weight. 25 to 29.9 is overweight, and 30 plus is obese. Let me also tell you that BMI is simply a ratio and it will never tell you fat percentage. For example, a professional bodybuilder will always have a higher BMI, his weight to height ratio, because his weight is, but his fat, he has got tissues, fat free tissues more. So it is just an indication of the ratio of your height to weight. Second assessment, simple assessment that you can do on your own is your waist to hip ratio. So ideally your waist circumference of your waist should be lower than the circumference of your hips or the buttocks. If it is same, the ratio would be 1. For example, the circumference of my waist and the circumference of my hips are same, the ratio would be 1. But ideally the ratio should be less than 1, almost 0.90, which means the size of your waist should be lesser than the size of your hips. Basically it represents your body weight distribution. Now when we say waist, where exactly should you measure it? So ideally 1 inch above the umbilicus. So here, somewhere around this. So this is the right way or place to measure your waist. And when you say hips, the largest circumference around your buttocks is the area which you need to measure, and the ratio of it will give you the distribution between your the ratio for your waist to height, waist to hip ratio. Next one is cardiorespiratory fitness. It is nothing but the capability of your heart, lungs, blood and blood vessels and relative muscle which is involved in the exercise or workout. A lot of people call it stamina, aerobic fitness. You must have heard people talking about VO2 max, VO2 volume of oxygen. It is nothing but your fitness in terms of your cardiorespiratory system. Here there are a lot of lab tests, there are a lot of field tests which are called protocols, and in which either you walk for some time, you run for some time, and then the pulse rate or your heart rates are monitored, a lot of formulas depending on your age, gender, and then you get your VO2 max or cardiorespiratory fitness values. One of the most common tests that you can do at your place is called a 3-minute step test or a 3-minute jog at stationary jog test. So what I can do right now is I can request Bhupender to volunteer and help me if we can do a 3-minute jog at place test. We'll for, and later on, once he's done with the test, we'll measure his pulse and let's see how it goes. Come. Yes, Bhupender.
Hello everyone.
So what I can do is, you can jog at, can you just show me once jogging at your stationary place? Yes. But you'll have to do it for 3 minutes, okay?
Okay.
At the 3, 2, 1, go. Guys, you can also try this right now while Bhupender is also doing it. 3 minutes. I should really thank Bhupender for this. Suddenly I've just told him, Aaja aur bhago.
I can feel the heat.
Not even 1 minute he can already feel the heat. 3 minutes is not an easy thing, but it all depends. Not necessarily you have to run at a very good speed. You know your speed, you can go slow, low intensity, but the important part is you need to run continuously for 3 minutes. So you can go slow on this. Since Bhupender is an excellent athlete, he can have the liberty of running at a very good pace for 3 minutes. 1.5 minutes done. Great going. I can see no difference in the pace which Bhupender is running. Fantastic. How many of you guys are right now trying to do this? Let me know in the comment section. I can already hear Bhupender's heartbeat going up. The breathing. 1 minute left. Bhupi, great going. Guys, this is not an easy test to be done. On a serious note, if you are not at the best of your health or fitness, don't try it alone. I mean, let you do this under the supervision of someone who can guide you properly in this. Great going, Bhupender. $15 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And going. Come. You can sit. All good?
Yeah.
So let me see the pulse rate. Yeah. So rather than, thank you so much, Bhupi.
Thank you.
So rather than counting the pulse rate for a minute, what you can do is check the pulse for 15 seconds and then multiply by 4, or do it for 30 seconds. That will give you real time, because by the time the entire 1 minute is completed, his heart rate might come to normal or a little less. So Bhupender's 15-second count was 25. So in a minute we can consider around 90 to 100, which is quite good. So anything more than 100 is average. Less than something around 85 to 90, 100, less than 100 is good. Anything which is less than that is excellent, and 100 plus is something which is below average and you need to work on your fitness levels. So this is a very simple test that you can do at your place. If you have a stepper, you can do this on a step test also. This was a stationary jog test. The same thing, 3 minutes step test also can be done. The next test is muscular endurance, and there are two tests in this. One is a push-up test, other is a squat test, a body weighted squat. For males, males can do the proper push-ups, and females can do a modified push-ups wherein with your knees in contact with the floor. And the drill is to do the test or perform push-ups till failure. And similarly for squat, you must perform the squats till failure. So if you are able to perform 20 to 25, see, this also will vary with person to person, with your age. You can't compare a 20 years person with a 50 or 60 years person. Okay. Also, depending on the gender, age, these combinations, these results or values will change. But on the face of it, if you are able to do 20 to 25 push-ups, it's considered to be average. If the count goes beyond 35 or 40-45, it's good. If you are more than 45 or 50, it's excellent. Anything below 10-15 is considered to be poor, and you need to work on your push-ups or muscular endurance. Similarly for squats, if you are able to do anything around 30-35 at one go, it is considered to be good. Anything more than 40 is excellent. If you can't do 10 squats, it is very poor. You need to work on it. To show proper forms for both these tests, push-up and squat, let me again, if your heart rate is back to normal, Bhupi, so Bhupender will show you proper form for push-up and a squat. Let me just adjust the camera for you. Hope you guys can see it. Hands shoulder width apart, elbows not flaring out. This is the right way to do push-ups, guys. The complete range of motion. Is anyone counting for Bhupender? मतलब आज भूपेंद्र का वर्कआउट मैंने ही करवा दिया. Nice one. So you need to continue the test till failure. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Bhupender. And since Bhupender must be a little tired, I can show you the squats. So from side, you go down, come up, go down, come up. Easy going. The deeper you can go, the better it is. The first is hips, and then you go down with your knees, come up. Simple. And you need to perform this. You need to perform this till failure. Yeah, and then count it. So Bhupender did somewhere around 25-30. Bhupender 35, sorry, which is very good. Anything above 30 is really, really good. And he wasn't even prepared for this. I just randomly keep calling him. Thank you so much, Bhupi. The next test is to check your flexibility, how flexible you are. If you don't have a complete range of motion of your movements, there are high chances of you getting injured. So for flexibility test, one of the basic tests you can do is can you please tell the correct posture for squats if we have knee pain? So Usha, thank you so much for the comment. We will have a separate session wherein we'll choose a few basic exercises like a push-up, like a squat, and we'll tell you the correct posture for each of these exercises. We'll have our team here, and either me or Bhupender will have a session on the correct postures of these exercises. Yeah, sure. So we were at flexibility. So one of the simple tests what we can do to assess flexibility is called a stand and reach test, wherein you just simply need to stand with your with not bending your knees and try to touch your feet. Simple. If you can see me, okay, I don't know if you can hear me properly, but just a sec, let me adjust this so that you can see me properly. Yeah, so with my legs straight, you shouldn't be doing this, you shouldn't be folding it, there's no bend. If you can reach here till your knees, it's pretty poor. You need to work on your flexibility. The lower you can go, the better is your flexibility. Simple, without bending your knees. If you can come here, it is considered to be good. If you can touch your feet, it's very good. If you can touch your toes easily, mind blowing. If you can touch the floor, it's excellent. Okay, a simple test that you can do. It is just not the flexibility of your legs or your hamstrings, but also the upper body. Similarly, there is a sit and reach test. So you can sit if standing is a problem for you. You can sit and do the same test. Try to reach as far as possible without bending your knees there. The next test is to test your muscular strength. So a lot of times you must have heard about the 1 RM test or 1 rep max test, wherein you need to lift the maximum amount of weight that you can in one single repetition. So all these exercises, bench presses, deadlifts, weighted squats, everything can be done, but these are not very commonly done, as they carry a lot of risk of injury, because you need a professional trainer with you to supervise this. So these are dynamic. All these exercises, bench press, deadlift, dynamic means there is motion in it. Other part is static muscular strength, wherein for how long you can hold a position. For example, one of the tests is a plank hold, which we all know, which we all do. If you can hold a plank for around 60 seconds to 90 seconds, it is considered to be average. If it is around 150 seconds, around 3 minutes, it is considered to be excellent. If you are less than 20 seconds, it is poor. You need to work on your planks. The next static muscular strength assessment exercise would be wall sits. So wherein we'll show both of these forms to you right now. Let me first tell you, if you can do a wall sit in proper form for 30-40 seconds, it is average. Around 2.5 minutes, more than that is very good. If it is less than 20 seconds, you can't hold it, it is poor and you need improvement. So let me again call Bhupender. If you can show us any of these, either a static hold. Can you show a plank hold to us? Hope you guys can see Bhupender. The elbow version of it. Kindly have a look at the form. Elbows at right angle from your shoulders. Hips neither too near to the floor nor too much away from the floor. Feet position proper. Neck position proper, not looking down, not looking up, not too much stress on your cervical. Easy. Keep breathing, holding your core tight, holding your position of the hips tight, stationary, away from the ground, not letting the hips dip. नाइस वन. भूपेंद्र का सब असेसमेंट आज हो गया है. थैंक यू सो मच भूपेंद्र फॉर दिस. Mind blowing. So all of you guys need to, the plank is one of the basic workouts you can do for your core, and then there are many versions of plank. That's it, Bhupender. That's it. Thank you so much. This was not to test Bhupender but to show you a right form of doing a plank. The next one is a wall sit, which I can try showing you the right form. If you can see this, straight to the wall, feet shoulder width apart, go straight down and at right angles with the wall support. The lower you go, the difficult it becomes. The higher you are, this is easy. So if you want to start, you can start with this. From sides I can just show you. At this, it becomes easier with the support. The lower you go, it becomes difficult. So at right angle, ideally with your hands away. If this is becoming difficult, you can take some support on your knees and hold it. Keep breathing, keep your core tight, keep your legs tight, keep breathing. A lot of people I see, they don't breathe, they forget to breathe, they hold their breaths, and either with your hands straight or here. Okay, so that was a wall sit. So if you can do that for more than 2-3 seconds, minutes, it is considered to be excellent. If it is less than 20 seconds, guys, please work on it. So these were a few basic assessments. So guys, if you need our help in getting yourself assessed on various more fitness parameters, then you may kindly get in touch with us. Also, download the FNF app now, and in a few steps get your fitness assessed right now. You can do that. Kindly get in touch with us for this. Also, there's a big announcement from the FNF team. So we at FNF are organizing a marathon run. Yay! On the 27th of December. There are 3 categories: 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers and 21 kilometers. You could register using the race links given in the comment section. You can do that right now. Register today, and also as a part of the registration, you will get a personalized nutrition plan. Yes, you heard it right. Free. There's nothing extra charge on it. You get a personalized nutrition plan for your marathons. What you need to eat, on your hydration, on your gels, on how much carbs to be eaten, how much proteins to be eaten, when, your micros, macros, and along with timing. So please get yourself registered for this run, and for more details go in the comment section, have a look at the link. If you have any questions regarding the marathon, please let us know. We are here to clarify them. And that's all I think from our side today. Again, I would thank everyone for watching this. Please do share your comments. Does plank help in strengthening the shoulders, Usha? Yes, of course, Usha. A plank is an exercise which will work on every bit of your muscle, all the body parts. So if you have your core is strong but your shoulders are weak, you won't be able to hold the plank for a lot of time. So you need right from your neck. A lot of people I've seen who have got weak cervicals, they also can't hold the plank even if they are really good at their core. So right from your cervical to your lumbar, to your core, to your shoulders, to your legs, to your ankles, everything. That's why plank is one of the most amazing exercises because it works on your entire body. It's a complete body workout in a few minutes. So that's why we have so many variations of a plank, because that really works on the entire body. It's not a isolated exercise which works only on your a couple of muscles. It works on your entire body. So yes, strengthening of the shoulders, the plank will surely help you in that. Any more questions from your end? I think convey. Okay, a lot of guys have conveyed appreciation and thanks to Bhupender. Yeah, thank you so much for this. Yes, and guys, request you to kindly register for the marathon and get your hands on for this free nutrition plan. It is mind blowing. So see you soon, and till then you guys stay safe, take care, and God bless. Thank you. Bye.